Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me again. I'm going to tackle a couple of things before I get into the body of the video. I've seen the photograph of Meghan with Kelly Zaifin's baby. Really? After she flew all the way to Switzerland to tell the world what a dangerous place the internet is for children. After she had been hiding her own children's faces for years. Now look, this is no joke. I think Meghan Markle is a bigger danger to children than the actual internet. I still remember Thomas Markle Jr. saying Meghan should never be allowed alone or near children or animals. I still think Thomas owes the world an explanation. If he knows something which can cause harm to the children in her care or any other child, and he does not talk and something goes wrong, then in my opinion he is complicit. I know she had a cat which she, by her own admission, abused, and then she fed it grapes and it died. But why did he mention children? It is indeed very concerning to me, and it has bothered me ever since. And then I watched her interaction with random children, and then I had this very uncomfortable feeling whenever I see her with children, even her own, or the adopted ones. Well, you know what I mean. The little people she dusts off every now and then to perform in front of the camera. The Lily child may indeed be Meghan's favorite child, or so it appears on camera, because she clearly gets the most attention. But in this case, with Meghan as the mother, is it actually a good thing that Meghan is so fixated on her? Now, I'm not making excuses for Meghan, but I think she has more severe mental health issues than we suspect. But I'm not qualified to make any such determination. But what not only us, but numerous profilers and psychiatrists and even other narcissists have recognized in Meghan is that she is severely, to the point of being delusional, narcissistic. I listened to an interview with a psychopath not too long ago, and he said, all psychopaths are narcissists, but not all narcissists are psychopaths. But he also said there is no such thing as a sociopath, that the term sociopath is just an excuse or a blanket term. And I think he is right, and because I think he's right, I will stick to the narcissism of Meghan Markle and not venture any further, even though I think and feel there is much else. Okay, now back to Lily. I do not like the way the undercurrent running through comments online lately. That poor child, whether she was born via surrogate or adopted, matters only when it comes to the line of succession to the royal family. Other than that, she is just another little girl, and I'm worried. I've been watching quietly for a while, and I am 90 to 99% sure that child is not being treated right. And I'm expressing myself like a doofus here, because for legal reasons I do not and would not dare express my real feelings or the correct terms. Naturally, what everyone is talking about there is Lily's hair. I think that bothers everyone more than anything else because it is so obvious. In the photographs on your screen, you can see that whether the child's hair was brushed or not, it used to look clean, smooth and shiny. However, for the past few months, it is not only unbrushed, it is dull, dry, and looks brittle. Now, there can only be a few reasons. One being it is dirty, dusty, and dirty. And number two being that colorant or hair dye has been used far too often, far too much, along with other products to lighten the child's hair. The original Lily, like the original Archie, both had dark hair. And yes, I know child or children's hair color can change, but I don't think it did. Not that much. More than one person told me that she was using color rinses on the children's hair. Now, okay, leaving that alone because we know why she's doing it. To convince us, the public, that the children are indeed Harry's children. What concerns me more is Lily's body structure. I know Meghan has a boxy body and thin legs and arms. She is what we call lanky and awkward, although she is only 5'5". However, I sincerely do not think Lily is her biological child, and besides, Lily's body structure looks more like that of a malnourished child than one who may turn out to have naturally long and slender limbs. Now, how on earth would that be possible? Meghan is constantly photographing fruit and vegetables and showing herself cooking. She sells chocolate and jams. How on earth would it happen that a child of hers could possibly look malnourished? Now, I'm saying malnourished, I'm not saying starved. Okay? This sort of neglected look could be due to them having to let go of the nanny or nannies and Doria moving out, etc., because they could not pay them, and Meghan is too busy with herself to bother spending the time to ensure that her 5-year-old is properly washed and groomed. But the rest? Now, we've not seen a frontal view or even a side view of Archie recently, so I cannot tell. But Lily does not look totally healthy. She looks like a malnourished child, like those we see in Africa often enough. The protruding extended belly and very thin legs and arms. So, like I said, I'm not an expert, so I consulted an expert, okay? And the reply came that, Meghan may have, for all we know, plans of turning Lily into a supermodel, okay? So she could one day live off her daughter. And therefore she is afraid that the child may get fat, and therefore she is restricting her diet, maybe even feeding her the wrong stuff. Remember the poor cat and the grapes? However, I was shocked when the expert said this. And I quote, "Yes, withholding food is absolutely something a narcissistic parent might do. It fits squarely with their psychological modus operandi." I don't want to go through the entire intricate explanation, just highlight it for you. It says withholding food aligns with the mechanics of narcissism in that it gives the narcissist power and control. The message to the child being, Your very survival depends entirely on my goodwill and your obedience. It plays into the narcissist's lack of empathy, seeing the child as an object and not a person, enforcing the scapegoat rule, weaponizing the giver persona, and so forth and so forth. It is indeed a very sad but interesting subject for those who are interested. There are two things my expert said which I thought was very, very profound. Firstly, is that although withholding food is a physical act, for a narcissist, the intent remains deeply psychological. It is rarely about the food itself, it is about breaking the child's spirit, forcing submission, and proving that the parent holds the ultimate power of life and death over them. Secondly, the second thing was that people often fail to report abuse in wealthy families because of a cognitive dissonance. They have money, so the child must be fine, or she cares so much about appearances, she won't let the child starve. Well, again, it's not about starving, it is about neglect and mental abuse in order to break the child down into complete submission. Remember Archie saying, "Only if you want me to," when she asked him whether he wanted to water the plants. It is chillingly eerie. And the worst is that dumb twat is off touching other men during sporting events instead of standing up, being strong, and taking care of his children first. So now we're going to talk about Harry a little. And again, I'm going to lay into the media. Oh, look, Harry had to go out on the day of his father's trooping, the official celebration of his father's birthday, to ruin it, to be seen, to be photographed. Bullshit. It is indeed his own fault he wasn't invited to trooping, but the fact remains he was not invited, and it is not his father's real birthday. So what on earth do you want him to do? Stay home and jump up from the couch and salute each time Charles rides by in his carriage on television? This event had nothing to do with Harry. Harry also did not plan or orchestrate the New York Knicks game in the finals in San Antonio, Texas. He did not set up the dates and schedules for the NBA games. Harry was indeed mostly likely, because of his placing on the Times 100 list, he was personally invited by NBA Commissioner Adam Silver and took a friend and veteran J.P. Lane along as guest and company. Honestly, what was he supposed to do? Say no thank you to the invitation because it is my dad's fake birthday, so I have to stay home and salute the television set? It is utter bullshit. Besides, I wish Harry gave the whole lot a brown eye on national television, because listen to this and then you will understand. Are you aware that Lady Pamela Hicks, one of the Queen's closest friends, lifelong friend and confidant, a lady in waiting for the Queen for many years, passed away on June the 5th at the age of 97? Well, by now, some of you may indeed know, but until Sunday, this was very much kept quiet. instructions to the media from the Buckingham Palace media office was to keep it quiet until after trooping the colour. Now I ask you why. I'll tell you, because they knew people like me would call out Charles and the rest of the senior royals, but in particular Charles, and call him a very disrespectful arsehole. Lady Pamela served the royal family all her life, mostly for effin' free. She was also the daughter of Lord Louis Mountbatten, remember, Charles's surrogate grandfather? So Charles knew this woman. She was in his life one way or another since the day he was born. Yet he could leave Peter Phillips's wedding, jump on a helicopter and rush off to the races. But he could not have a cup of tea, a biscuit, after trooping, get on a helicopter and spend an hour or less paying his respect to a woman who served the family all her life. I am disgusted. I specifically went and did my homework. Lady Pamela's funeral took place 2 hours after the conclusion of trooping, and it takes the royal helicopter 35 minutes from Buckingham Palace to Oxfordshire. Charles had enough time to go for a shit and have tea before leaving for the funeral. And if he couldn't, for whatever reason, then neither Edward nor William is unfamiliar with Lady Pamela and her family. Shame on Charles. Shame on him. May it be a huge lesson to all the sycophants out there. Listen carefully. Charles does not care about you. If he does not care about the family of Lady Pamela, the family of his surrogate grandfather, then give me one reason why he would care about you. Something else I want to mention while on that particular wicket. I asked you whether you felt it was in any way inappropriate for trooping to go ahead in light of what is happening in Northern Ireland, Scotland, and in England itself. Now, the majority of you said it should go ahead, and I absolutely 100% understand why, and full credit to you taking the time to spell out your reasons. I'm one of a few creators who have actually said this before. But for the new people, I'm going to repeat it, and while I'm at it, in a far more blunt fashion. I mean, I'd get into trouble anyway, whether I say it as it is or whether I try and sugarcoat it. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I do not like Charles, and I do not trust him, and I never have, and I never will. But I am not at all advocating for the end of the monarchy. Not at this time. With everything going on in Britain, you have to cling to your traditions and culture, because without it, at this time, you will be overrun and overcome, and all you'll be able to do is listen to the midday call from the mosque on a Friday. So yes, thank you to those who respectfully replied. In my heart of hearts, I understand and I even agree with you. Actually, someone said they also understand why I felt it was a little out of touch, etc. And that she also felt that way, but finally realized that she felt that way not because of the institution of the monarchy, but because of the person currently heading it. Now, I went ahead and I thought about it for more than a minute or two, and she is 100% right. Now, I did not talk about it, but I think now is exactly the right time to do so. A couple of days ago, Charles was heckled in Grimsby about Henry Nowak, Keir Starmer, and the illegal migrants. While doing his usual meet and greet, a man called out, "Henry Nowak, say his name. Keir Starmer, get him out, and stop the boats." Now, I'm going to stay away from the political stuff, but it hit me. The Henry Nowak incident has gone around the world. Anybody who is on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, X, Instagram, etc., knows about it. But back at the ranch, parents have lost their 18-year-old son. And you know what? As a human being, as a father, as a grandfather, he should have stopped right there. And all it would have taken was to say, "My wife and I extend our most," yes, don't leave out the most, please, "sincere and most heartfelt condolences to the family and friends of Henry Nowak." That is all. My wife and I extend our most sincere and most heartfelt condolences to the family and friends of Henry Nowak. That's it. That's all. Nothing political, nothing zip, nada, nothing else. Just acknowledge the man who spoke to him and acknowledge the parents of Henry Nowak who suffered a devastating loss. But instead, he does what he always does, become deaf, dumb, and blind, pretend he did not hear a word, and ignore what he does not want to hear, and grin that awful crooked-teeth grin of his. That is awful. It is disgusting. And if that is what the government will be paying over £100 million for at the end of this year, how embarrassingly disgusting. I know they will never hear it, and it may mean nothing coming from me. But to the family and friends of Henry Nowak, I see you, I feel for you, and I'm so sorry this happened to you. And I'm grateful that I have the platform to actually say this on, seeing that your king cannot do so. Now guys, I have to end this video. I feel I'm venturing into territory I should rather stay out of for now. But as for Charles, I don't care whether you are king or pauper, sir. You are a cold, nasty human being, or being. Don't even want to call you human. Maybe he's so cold because he has reptilian blood. I mean, who the heck knows? But I can tell you this, we had chameleons and dragons as pets, and I swear they were more empathetic than Charles. Okay, guys and girls, that's it from me for now. Take good care, stay vigilant, and stay safe. Bye.